Hello, what's up, Guru Nation? We are back for a brand new episode of Mock Draft Monday, y'all. Monday, July 8th, 2024. Fantasy football season will be here before we know it, so we got to get y'all right with another Mock Draft Monday episode. Really excited to bring this one to y'all live from New Orleans. As always, repping the 504. Ready to get this thing rolling. We've got a lot of savages in this draft, a lot of our usual hitters that bring the heat, and we've got a very special guest tonight, Ari, fantasy football expert over on Instagram. He kills it year after year with strong advice, and he is here to bring us some more insight because we always looking for more knowledge, more insight. So Ari's here. He's going to bring it for us, and we're going to have our grades afterwards. Be a 12-team PPR single quarterback league, so getting our feet wet. So I'll try to go a little easier on y'all this week. I know I was a little harsh last week with the grades, so try to be a little easier. But, we got to get better. We're always trying to get better. I don't give myself an A every week by any means. So we're going to have Ari on in just a minute. But first, I'd like to announce our first ever sponsor on the Guru Nation podcast, y'all. Really appreciate Elysian Sports for sponsoring us. Got to shout out Owen and Gus and all the guys at Elysian Sports, a sports betting forum on Discord. They kill it each and every day with daily sports betting picks done by pro handicappers with a 55% win rate. So the way their picks have been going, if you've been tailing, they've been making money. So shout out to Elysian Sports. The link is in the live chat as well as in the video description. So make sure to check out Elysian Sports for those that are into sports betting. Join the server, interact with the community over there. They're good guys. So yeah, Elysian Sports, appreciate them for being our first ever Guru Nation sponsor, making history. So thank y'all once again to Elysian. And now let's bring on Ari, fantasy football expert. What it do, bro?
Hi, thank you for having me on. Happy Monday.
Yeah, for sure, man. Thank you for coming on. Ari has a big following over on Instagram and hosts mock drafts of his own and also a lot of leagues. One of his fantasy baseball leagues. So shout out to Ari. And so, yeah, let the people know before we get going your journey into fantasy football. I know you've been playing for ever since I can remember. I got on Instagram in 2014. You've always been a part of the community. So let the people know your backstory.
Yeah, it was July 2015, so it's about in a little over a week will be my 9 years of being on Instagram. Obviously, it's been a slow grind. Obviously, back then there weren't as many of us, accounts as there are now, obviously, but it's been a slow grind to where I'm at today with my account. So still keeping the everyday grind as best I can, just like when I started.
For sure, man. For sure. Yeah, we grinding each and every day, trying to get better here. And shout out to everyone in the chat here. I see we got Derek here. Yes, please subscribe and hit the thumbs up. I always forget to mention that. But yes, please do so. Thank you, Derek, for reminding everyone. Subscribe, hit the thumbs up, keep tuned in on what we've got going because we've been getting a lot more content up with these shorter form videos, reels, all this new content that they've got. So it's like, let's take advantage of that. Let's keep getting it out. So appreciate everyone else. Bogey to GMM Network. He'll be one of our Mock Draft Monday guests for sure. We just launched the new channel there, the GWN Gen Wealth Net. Go check that out if you haven't already. That's on YouTube. We launched that Saturday. Appreciate you for tuning in. Good Intentions was good, bro. And Hayden Herb. Is that the Hayden Herb? Tampa Bay Rays pitcher. What up, Hayden? Me and Hayden go way back. He's now in the Tampa Bay Rays organization. Shout out to him for tuning in. And Joseph, thank you, bro. Big fan. Yes, sir. I know you are. Joseph's in all the mocks, so definitely glad to have Joseph back. So without further ado, let's pull this board up here, y'all. And we've got all 12. I don't know if all 12 are in here yet, but we got to get it started, though. We can't waste any more time. We got to get this thing going. I know y'all have stuff to do besides drafting, but I know I love drafting. I could do this all night. So let's get it going though. 3, 2, 1. Mock Draft Monday is underway. B-Man, you are on the clock. and he's right there. I knew he'd show up. B-Man, one of our loyal mock drafters. Let's say, who do you think's going first, Ari? But I think it's safe to say that CMC was going to be
Yeah,
that first pick.
I've been telling some people, I think, McCaffrey is the clear, for the most part, 101 this year. But I think kind of after that, I think it's kind of up for grabs between like 2 to 7, 2 to 8 overall, and between, Lamb, Chase, Hill, Jefferson, Amon-Ra, Bijan, Brees Hall. I think there's a lot of different avenues drafts can go, after that, after that number 1 pick.
100%. Yeah, it's the receiver. There's kind of a toss up. I mean, CD is my overall number 1 receiver, so I'm kind of surprised that he fell to 3. I could make the case that he should go 1, considering how involved he'll be in that Cowboys offense. But he goes at 3, good value there. Jamar Chase, I was hoping to get Jamar at pick 5, honestly. I had him on the thumbnail tonight. I was thinking he'd be good at pick 5. And then you got Tyreek Hill there, Ari, so I got to decide what I want to do. I guess I'll go ahead and take Brees Hall. I dropped the reel today explaining why I really like Brees Hall in that new-look Jets offense. Hopefully a healthy Aaron Rodgers. And while he might not catch as many passes, I see him scoring double-digit touchdowns this year. I mean, he finished his RB2 last year with only 9 touchdowns. I mean, if that offense is what we think it is, then I think he could challenge CMC for the top spot.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of interesting. I think it's really like a 2A, 2B for me between, Brees Hall and Bijan. Right now, I give a slight edge to Bijan, but I mean, for me, it's 2A, 2B, like I said. So it's certainly, arguable both ways.
For sure, man. Yeah, Bijan. Yeah, we actually had that debate on the first Jen WealthNet episode. We were doing a player comparison thing with players similar in ADP. Yeah, Chase second. That was pretty high. Shout out to Albert. What up, bro? But yeah, Bijan there at was that at 8? Yeah, that's a good value for Bijan. And then Gibbs, man, Jahmyr Gibbs. It's like if you're not willing to take him in the first, you're not getting him. Jahmyr Gibbs is going high there. But yeah, Bijan at 8, a good value. And Jefferson, I feel like was the consensus 1-5, but with that QB situation, man, I'm a little leery about Jefferson this year. I know he's a dog, but going from Kirk Cousins to either Sam Darnold or JJ McCarthy, it's kind of scary.
Yeah, certainly some risk. I still think he'll, get the job done overall, but I agree that I probably won't value him top 5 overall, but I think in that kind of 6 to 10 range, I think he's a fine, kind of general spot to take him.
Right. Yeah, pick 7, I like that. Because, yeah, Amon-Ra, I've been seeing Amon-Ra go above him, and I agree with that. I think Amon-Ra he's my WR4 overall. I almost took him at 5, but I wanted to go with Brees and see what an early running back build would look like. So far, I'm cool with that. And Tyreek Hill, I know he's a guy that obviously really good, but getting a little up in age, and just talking about his contract situation. But I'm guessing you feel like he's gonna either repeat or come pretty close to what he did last year.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much the situation's the same as last year. Obviously, 1 year older, but for the purpose of this season, I can't say I'm that worried about his age.
Yeah.
And I know he mentioned the contract, after other guys are paid this offseason, but nothing that I'm like too worried about right now in terms of him holding out or anything.
Yeah, for sure. I agree. I'm not panicking about Tyreek Hill or CD Lamb. CD Lamb's also threatening to hold out. But to me, they're 1-2. Right now, I have it CD 1, Tyreek 2, Chase 3. I think those are all really close. But, yeah, I still think Tyreek's going to eat. And there goes Puka there at 12, man. Garrett Wilson. We were talking about Puka versus Garrett Wilson, too, on the show. And I was surprised how many people have Garrett Wilson over Puka. But I can kind of see it because if Garrett Wilson shining with a healthy Rodgers, I mean, he could finish as a top 5 receiver. And with Cooper Kupp back, like, Puka might not do quite as well. But I still think Puka eats well because that Sean McVay offense, they freaking produce fantasy studs.
Yeah, I mean, with Garrett, it all comes down to, Aaron Rodgers staying healthy, obviously, which is, there's obviously some risk with that. But I think he holds like top 2 to 3 upside if you get a full season of him with Aaron Rodgers. I think right now I do lean towards Wilson as well, myself over Puka, but I think they're pretty much in the same tier for me. And you can argue Puga's a little bit safer, even though Stafford also has his, there's some injury risk with him as well. And then, you still have Cup, even though I still think Puka. I think it's really a 1A 1B again between Puka and Cup in LA.
Right, yeah, Cup's no joke, man. A healthy Cup, I mean, that's going to take away some
And I
from
also I
Puka.
also see their defense taking a step back, probably, losing Aaron Donald and then also their defensive coordinator. So they may have to pass the ball more this year, even more this year, potentially.
Right, that's why I really like Puka and why I'd probably still take him over Wilson, because even with a healthy Rodgers, that's going to be a run-first offense with that defense, Brees and that defense. But Rodgers being 40 years old, he's not going to be the MVP of that team anymore. I mean, he's going to be a valuable piece, no doubt, but the MVPs of that team are Brees Hall and Sauce Gardner, where with the Rams, I mean, shoot, you can make a case that Puka or Cup would. I mean, they could be the two most valuable pieces on that team, because that defense, like you said, not going to be quite as good probably without Aaron Donald. And I mean, Stafford can still sling it. McVay, one of the best play callers in the game, so that's why I'm leaning Puka. But they're close. And then Marv Jr., man, Marvin Harrison Jr. flying up draft boards.
Yeah, I mean, I like I told you, this is only my second actual mock draft, but I've kind of been keeping up with other mocks, across the industry, and it seems like he's going to be a pretty consensus top, 12 to 17 overall pick or so.
Yeah, I can, and I'm on board with it because I think that's going to be a high pass volume offense there with Kyler Murray, and I think he's going to be the alpha. Trey McBride will still eat, but I don't see McBride outpacing him as far as targets go. And then, man, Drake London, man, what are your thoughts on that? 2.5. That's pretty high to me, and it don't seem like he's getting any cheaper. Shoot. Drake London, I know, I get it. There's Kirk Cousins there now, but this hype train, man, you think it's gotten out of hand or what? I'm not messing with it, but I mean, what say
Yeah,
you?
I think it's a little bit early. I think, upside why, and it's also interesting that he paired Bijan and Drake London, so really buying into the Falcons offense, obviously on that team, which I can't say like I hate that or anything, but um, I'm not sure that I would take him quite that early. I think maybe late second round, I think would be serviceable for London. I don't know if about, what would that be, 13, 14, like 17, top 17 overall. But I'm not, like I said, I'm not totally sure if he's going that early, consensus wise this year, or if that, yeah. What have you seen in your mocks? Is he going that early usually, or?
Not usually. He usually goes about where I got Olave, like mid to late second.
I
This
guess
is the earliest I've seen
it's
him.
it's not really that much of a difference, really. I guess, a few picks if you're he's not going to come back to you on the way back,
Yeah.
obviously. So
Yeah, leave it to Joseph to do that. Joseph, one of our loyal mock drafters who tends to take risk. He's known for as the gambler of mock draft Monday, and he continues to live up to that shtick despite telling me beforehand that he was not going to be as risky tonight. But here we go. Takes Drake London higher than I've ever seen him. But anyway.
we all have our own ways of drafting, and whatever works for, because obviously come the season, the draft's only one part of the season, obviously. So, but yeah.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things people panic about the draft, but not to be all end all. If you have a strong waiver wire, swing some good trades, could always bounce back. Derrick Henry, man, the King Henry, buying the King Henry hype. I know Bogart and Guccini super high on Derrick Henry. We just dropped the reel recently about this thing, and they think he's going to rush for 20 touchdowns. I'm guessing you feel similar, being that you pulled him up in the second.
Yeah, 1 second.
Yeah, go ahead, make it next. Oh, Kelsey. Oh, damn. Oh, I would have taken Kelsey, man. That's a good pick.
Yeah, I mean, again, like I said, that this is only my second mock, so I'm still kind of getting used to, especially on Sleeper, all the pre-draft, rankings and all of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think, obviously there's the concern with his age and, all that, but I mean, he's been about as durable as you could ask for, with the running back of his age. And, I think that is in the world of in the realm of possibilities is like, because I think Gus Edwards had, I think, 13 if I remember correctly last year. I think Henry can easily have a few more than that. So obviously there's going to be limited upside in the passing game with him for both his play style and Lamar not targeting running backs a ton in the passing game, but I think he can be one of the rare exceptions where he can make up for that, with 17 to 18 plus touchdowns on the ground.
Yeah, it's possible. I mean, it's a cold weather kind of team that they love to run the football, pound the rock, and Lamar slimmed down a little bit this year. So yeah, I can see. I think it's pretty safe to say he's getting double digits. So just to see how many. But yeah, Kelsey there. That was a great value, I feel like. And I got Josh Jacobs at the 3.5. A lot of people kind of down on Jacobs, saying, in that offense, it's a pass first offense, which I get it. It is. I mean, Jordan Love's going to sling it and get his, but I feel like Josh Jacobs could really eat here because he's never really been in an offense that's got that much of a threat. I feel like passing wise. I mean, Derek Carr is always a decent QB, but I don't know. Like, I feel like this would be the first time Jacobs will really be able to have a lot of open space. I mean, I know he's more of a physical early down runner, but I just think in that offense, there's a lot of upside there. He's another one that I think it's double-digit touchdowns. I mean, we saw Aaron Jones do it in Matt LaFleur's system, and Jacobs has shown he can catch. I mean, he's caught 50, 60 passes before, so I'm not too worried about the guys behind him. Marshawn Lloyd's got potential, but he fumbled a lot in college. Out there going to want to give him a big role as a rookie. And A.J. Dillon, I mean, he's nothing special. So I like getting Jacobs in the third. I feel like we both did well with Kelsey and Jacobs there, guys that normally go a little bit higher, but I think people just get a little concerned with the age. But in redraft, man, I mean, there goes Kupp, Diggs, Evans. I mean, can't be afraid to pull these veterans up. I mean, this isn't dynasty season anymore.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. Jacobs was one of the guys I was considering as well, kind of in that 3-4 range. I know, there's talk about Lloyd and everything, but I think he's kind of a guy that could step into a bigger role next season. Because I believe it was Jacobs a free agent after this season, or there's like an out in his contract after this season. There's something along those lines. So I think we could see the Packers kind of run him into the ground, so to speak, or however you want to call it. And I think he is the pretty clear lead back, in that backfield on all three downs this year. And then we could see Lloyd, kind of mix into the passing downs, and then maybe next season he takes into a bigger role. But yeah, there's nothing that I've seen that doesn't suggest that Jacobs isn't going to be, the pretty clear lead back.
For sure, man. Yep. So I was happy with that. Got a lot of. It went pretty running back heavy there with that start, but I'm okay with it. And Chris Olave is my second rounder. I think he's got a pretty stable floor and a ceiling. He could do better this year in the Clint Kubiak system. But even if he doesn't take a huge step forward, I still think he's a lock for 1,000 yards and 80 to 90 catches. Malik Neighbors going there in the fourth. That's a pretty good value for him. Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts. Finally, some QBs, man. Have you noticed the QBs slipping like this? Normally, Allen and Hurts go above this. I pulled Allen up really high in one a few weeks ago, but he slipped all the way to the 4.1 here.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, all leagues are different, and there's not really I don't think it's really just a preference if you like to, establish an elite quarterback early or late. There's really no right or wrong answer.
Yeah.
I kind of imagine that at least one would usually go in the third round, if not two. So it's just probably a little bit later than in most cases. But I guess technically the first quarterback was also auto pick. It looks like so. There's that too.
Yeah,
but,
it was.
But yeah, I think usually you'll see at least one or two go in the third round in a 12-team league. But unless multiple people just have that same mindset of not taking one too early.
Yeah, a lot of people did have that mindset. It looks like here. I had a queue mishap. I saw Bryce Young was on my queue. I was like, that is not good, y'all. We do not want to get auto drafted Bryce Young. Not that I plan on auto drafting, but still. Oh, we got Flo Joe in the house. What up, Fantasy Flo Joe? one of our IG Experts League members. So, are we running that this year, Ari? The
Yeah,
IG Experts League?
I don't know. I've heard. I guess we can talk about it soon.
Yeah, we should, bro.
Usually by now we would have had some sort of conversation about it, but I guess
Yeah.
I guess it's kind of gone by fast.
Yeah, it's been a busy off season, but yeah, that was like a 10-plus-year-old league. Shout out to Rob from a Fantasy Football State of Mind for getting that one together many years ago. We were one of some of the OG members. I think us, him, and Beast are the originals, and Couch. But Couch, I think, is dropping out.
I think I was like, I don't know. I think I was like the second or third year into the league. I don't know for sure what, but it's still early on.
Yeah, close enough.
Yeah.
Trying to decide what I want to do with this one, man. This is a tough decision. I think I'm gonna go ahead and I don't even take the tight end early, but I'm gonna do it right here. Give me Trey McBride, man. Trey McBride was really putting up special numbers last season down the stretch. And I know I just was all in on Marv Harrison Jr. earlier, and I still am, but I think Trey McBride, dude, they don't really have much else over there outside of him and Marv. So I think in the 4th round, he's a pretty good value here. Only took 1 receiver in the first 4. I normally always take at least 2 receivers, but, we're going to try something a little different here. Yeah, Devontae Smith was definitely on my queue, Ari. I like that pick.
Yeah, I was looking at both him and Debo. I mean, obviously there's uncertainty with Ayuk. I mean,
yeah,
you kind of assume he's probably going to still be at the Niners, but there's still a chance. It's kind of a fluid situation, obviously. So, Debo, obviously he'd be going way earlier come August or whatever if Ayuk was traded.
That's true. Yeah, he went right after.
We're going with what we know right now, obviously.
For sure, man. Yeah, Debo. I think Ayuk stays. I'm not buying the trade rumors. I think he stays. So, Rob's officially back. There we go. That's what I like to hear. And Ricky Pearsall, I was about to say Ricky Pearsall. If something would happen with one of them, if one of them, Debo Ayuk, would get traded, and boom, Ricky Pearsall becomes very relevant for redraft. And also Kittle gets a big stock up. So, I like taking Ricky Pearsall late if you can get him in like the 11th or 12th round there. I like that. But, I'm definitely not taking him, as an early round pick by any means, because I think that this year is still going to be Debo Ayuk, and those two get so many targets along with Kittle and CMC. There's not going to be enough left over for Pearsall to be relevant outside of like maybe these like insane like 32-man leagues or something.
Yeah.
Back on the clock.
Running backs here. Let's see.
Yeah, they still got some good ones. Some solid RB2 values, it looks like.
I think I'm just going to go. Wait, whoops. I think I'm just going to take Walker here, who I think is a pretty safe RB2.
I like that.
Probably not the most upside of who's available with the, I think it's going to be a pretty pass-heavy offense for the most part with the new offense under Ryan Grubb, but I still think he'll have enough success efficiency-wise, I should say, to still be a pretty stable RB2.
For sure, man. Yeah, I'm cool with K-Dot there. I think he'll be, Charbonnet could, eaten his workload a little bit, but I still think he'll get early down work. And I know you're a Seattle guy.
Yeah.
Fantasy Fojo. What team you working for now?
I mean, I don't have like my job. I guess you could say I write for Fantasy Pros. For their news desk for MLB, NBA, and NFL. And then it's not really a job, but I kind of help cover the football team here at University of Arizona. It's not really like a job. It was an internship that I just kind of kept up with because I could just kind of go to the games for free, through it. So
yeah.
And it's kind of fun to, they're really good right now. So Looking forward to the upcoming season because right now they have 3 guys that are projected to be first round picks in the draft next year. And the one that's going to be fantasy relevant is the receiver Tad McMillan, who's probably, I think he's the best receiver in the country, but I know there's I think there's one that's like a 1A 1B with another receiver. I'm blanking on his name right now, but
oh, you're good, bro. Yeah, I hear you, man. Arizona, Big 12 now. The Big 12. They have to sling it to keep up in the Big 12. That's a pass-heavy conference there.
Yeah, they bring back. Obviously, they had the coaching change with Washington lost the board to Alabama, and then Arizona's coach went to Washington. So they had a whole big thing, but they still had pretty much the whole team stay despite the coach leaving. So should still be good.
Right on, man. Oh yeah, the kid from OSU. Yeah, they got another stud this year. I forgot his name.
Yeah, it's not him. It was a kid, I think, from Missouri. I think it's. Gosh, this is. Hey, wait, no, I'm looking this up. This is.
Do your thing, man.
Luther Burden is the receiver I was talking about.
Oh, yeah, Luther Burden. Yeah. Wow, that dude's a stud, man.
It's him and McMillan are expected to be the top 2 receivers in the 2025 draft as of now. And then Arizona also has an offensive lineman and a cornerback who are right now first-round picks projection-wise. So, but, yeah, obviously their Steve McMillan will be the fantasy guy to watch out for.
That's what's up. Yeah, don't sleep on the Wildcats, y'all. So, man, we had a little QB run here while we were breaking that down. We had C.J. Stroud. I took C.J. Stroud there. I decided to go bold. I'm going to continue waiting on WR2. I'm going to see if that pays off. So I got C.J. Stroud, and boom, there goes Anthony Richardson right after. A shout out to Lawrence Jackson. He was hyping up A-Rich today. I was like, man, you're really hyping him up, man. I'm going to pump the brakes a little bit. He has him as his overall QB1, but he stood on business with that take. So shout out to Lord. But yeah, Anthony Richardson going high here. Not mad at it there in the 5th. Joe Burrow right after. Joe Shiesty. Not mad at that either. He should bounce back. So yeah, now 7 QBs off the board and a couple of receivers. I was hoping to get Tank Dell. My dream scenario would have been C.J. Stroud and Tank Dell at the 6-8, but I guess that was would have been too good to be true.
Yeah, I'm bullish on Richardson as well. I mean, he's not my QB1, but I think he's my QB4, and I think he has QB1, upside with his rushing ability. I think he was QB4, if I remember correctly, before his injury last year.
Yeah, he was up there.
Obviously, there is injury risk, but quarterback is so deep that you can get a fine backup late as insurance, and
yeah, just put Kirk Cousins or somebody in that spot. And a New Orleans sports writer, not Saints beat writer yet, but I'm in New Orleans covering sports around the area, and of course still repping the Saints and Pels. So yep, and okay, and Kyler 5, Kyler's the other one that a lot of people have cracking the top 5 this year. I'm sure he'll be off the board here soon. But man, they're taking all these receivers, man. I'm kind of kicking myself for waiting on this position because man, people are scooping up all the talent. Ugh. There's still a few names though.
Yeah, there's still a few.
We'll live. Yeah. Oh, Chris Godwin, Terry McLaurin, bro.
I like the Godwin pick. I think with him moving to the slot more this season, I think we could see a closer season to what he had. I think it was.
He's a
few years ago when he really broke out.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, 2021 or 22. One of those years with Brady.
Yeah.
Brady was really peppered a slot, and Godwin filled that role quite well.
Yeah, it was whichever. I think it was the year before or after when Calvin Ridley had his huge season with Atlanta. Because I know I was super high on both of them heading into those seasons, and because they were I think 4th, 5th round. And that was usually 4th or 5th round. You usually have one receiver that really breaks out in that range. So I think, yeah, they were back-to-back years when they had their first, huge season.
100%. Yeah, Keenan Allen, that's another one I had on my board. Well, I guess they kind of boxing me in the corner here. I think I kind of and someone said it that they wanted him earlier, George Pickens, and you know, I just like I would do that like the commission, but it's like in a mock, man. It's like it's just a mock. Like I feel like
Yeah.
it's just we gotta let it ride. So I think I feel bad because as a Murph dog, he ended up with Pitts, and he said he'd rather Pickens. I know I would have rather Pickens over Pitts. I'm not a huge Pickens guy, but yeah, I don't know what I might just let Pickens keep on because in that offense, man, I'm not a fan of Arthur Smith. But at this point, it's kind of you know what? You just mentioned him, Ari. I'm going to take a chance right here. Calvin Ridley. That's who I'm going with. Calvin Ridley. It just clicked because of that Brian Callahan system, man. I think with the Titans, Brian Callahan, they're going to push the ball down the field. And Calvin Ridley, I think, is going to do even better than he did last year in Jacksonville because I think he'll play the Jamar Chase role there. Not saying they're going to be anything like the Bengals, but they could be like a Bengals light. And I mean, the 6th round, that's pretty good, I feel like.
Yeah, for sure. I think, it's probably going to be a relatively, I mean, it'll be interesting to see how the offense, runs with the backfield that they have now. And then, another full season of Levis, I should say.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to be, a great team record wise, but they could be
Right.
interesting offense for fantasy.
Yeah, we just need them to be a diet Cincinnati, which, I mean, Cincinnati, I mean, yeah, they're the premium, bro. They're like Coca-Cola Classic. Like, you got to pay up for the Bengals guys. I mean, Jamar Chase there went 2. But if I can get Calvin Ridley 5 rounds later, I'll take it. Because, I mean, Pickens, man, and then he finally goes. I don't want Arthur Smith's number 1 receiver, man. We saw it with Drake London the past couple of years. It was gross. Like, I mean, as a bench player, Drake London was fine, but I had him in a few leagues. I took him kind of high last year thinking he'd break out, and then he just, including the IG Experts League, he sold me down the river in that league. Him and Najee, man. It's like I took him thinking they would break out, but, I mean, Najee just kind of is what he is, and then, I mean, I feel like Pickens, like he'll have his moments, but consistently, I don't know. I mean, Ridley will probably be similar. I mean, they're both similar. It's just I think Ridley in that offense has a little better floor. I feel like I admit the ceiling's higher for Pickens, but the floor for Ridley I think is a little more stable with a more high volume passing offense.
No, yeah, I definitely agree. I think Pickens will definitely be interesting with his deep threat ability paired with Russell Wilson's deep ball, assuming Russell Wilson's the starter week 1. But I agree that I think it's going to be kind of frustrating on a week-to-week basis with him. Kind of having to rely on him. I think, like you said, he'll have his big weeks, but it's not going to really come on a consistent basis.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Ridley or Scary Terry. I think I'd have gone Scary Terry, honestly, because I think in that offense, like, Scary Terry's going to do pretty well this year with Jaden Daniels throwing him the rock. I mean, they're fairly close, but I give the edge to Scary Terry. He's got such a stable floor. Oh, Jaden Reed, though. I was high on him.
Yeah,
Man.
I agree. I'm actually pretty bullish on Jaden Daniels and the Commanders' offense and what they can bring. I mean, we've seen what McLaurin's been able to do in flashes, with their quarterback situation and their offense in general in the past. I mean, really since he's been there, really. I think there's some risk with Daniels being a rookie, but I think we see both Daniels and Caleb Williams kind of step in day 1, and I think they're both going to be fine running their offenses right away.
Yes. I agree. Yeah, I think those rookies do well. Oh man, this is tough. I'm gonna just swing for the fences there. Give me Lad McConkey. I'm gonna go Lad McConkey. I think he's gonna do really well as a rookie this year with the Chargers. Thought about Jordan Addison there, but I took him last week, and I'm just like, I don't know, man. Like I said earlier, I'm not that high on the Vikings offense, but I like Lad here because I think people are really sleeping on Justin Herbert. Yeah, wanting to bury him. I'd have rather Jaden Reed. I'll admit, you really sniped me with that Jaden Reed pick, but I'm okay with Ladd right here. It's like, I admit it might not be the best value, but 7th round, it's like, no, I don't think you can do a whole lot better at this point.
Yeah, I mean, right now I think he's a pretty, I guess maybe not clear, but I think he has a pretty favorable route to being the top target for Herbert to open the season. So with his route running ability and just overall play style, I think he can, not calling him like a Cooper Cup player, but I think he can have that type of play style where he kind of racks up a lot of receptions, a lot of weeks, and he's probably not going to have a ton of like downfield big plays, but I think he can have a lot of short catches and yards after catch, and kind of all of that, which I think works perfectly with the offense that they're trying to run. That's at least they're trying to run a more run oriented offense. I don't know if they're going to be able to do that with their personnel per se, but that's what they're trying to do at least.
Right. Yeah. So Herbert himself, probably not a great fantasy bet, but I think at least one or two of his weapons will have good years. And McConkey, I think, will be one of them. I like Josh Palmer late, maybe even Quentin Johnston. I think one of those two could be a steal late. It's just hard to know which one, but I think McConkey is definitely going to be one of the top two.
Yeah, my bet would be on McConkey to be the one, but I'm sure there would be some sort of competition or whatever. It would be something to monitor during training camp, which it's kind of crazy. We're already really, I think the first camp started, I think July 13th, if I'm not mistaken. So, or
Really?
14th.
That early?
There's some that start like 16th, 17th, but then there's some that start, or maybe it's only rookies or something, but there's at least something that's like in the next week or so. So, pretty exciting that it kind of goes by quickly. At least for me, even just the past couple months have gone by quickly since the NFL draft. So we're just a month away from preseason, and then I think it's September 5th, if I'm not mistaken, for the first game. So I know it was nine Sundays from yesterday was the first Sunday. So we're almost there.
Yeah, we're getting close, man. I'm excited. And there goes Jake Ferguson. I like Jake Ferguson, man. He's someone that I feel like gets slept on, but I feel like in that offense, he could end up a top 5 tight end. I think he could sneak that top 5 tight end finish with Dak not really having much else outside of CD. Definitely don't see old man Brandon Cooks being a volume guy. Jalen Tolbert could maybe do a little something, but not going to be a volume guy. So I think Ferguson, he went above Evan Ingram. That's a little controversial. I maybe would have still gone Ingram, but I definitely like both of them over Brock Bowers. I get the hype of Brock Bowers. He's a physical specimen. I think he'll eventually be a great fantasy play, but I think it might take him a year or two to develop. I don't see him being like a Laporta because I just don't see the Raiders offense being like the Lions there, to where I think Bowers – it's going to take him a little while to carve out his role. Devontae Adams, the big dog there. So I think it was an auto because Bowers normally doesn't go that early.
Yeah, it looks like an auto.
Yeah, they kind of got screwed there because to me, Evan Ingram, Jake Ferguson, those guys, they're just very steady. As it was I'd say mid tight end ones that they don't have the upside of a McBride, Kincaid, Laporta, Kelsey, but I feel like you know what you're getting there, and they might. Ingram last year did more than we were thinking, at over 100 catches.
Yeah, and he's talked about wanting to be utilized more downfield this season, which last year he was more kind of a safety blanket, kind of short yardage type of target for Trevor Lawrence. So I think that could even raise the upside potentially even more. Maybe he probably won't repeat the exact same reception total more than likely, but if you have more big plays, and that can easily more than make up for maybe some less receptions.
Mm-hmm. For sure. Yeah. Oh yeah, because they talk about getting him down the field a little bit more. So I doubt he'll catch 100 passes again. Yeah. But he still be fine. I'm trying to queue up some players here before it gets back to me. Trying to see what we got here. Some
Yeah,
back. Man,
you've got all right before you, so you'll be right on the clock right after this pick.
Okay, yeah, for sure. Yeah, he's damn, man, the receivers really dried up, bro. I don't like it, but is what it is. I mean, that's just you, and you wait on it. You're probably gonna get left kind of high and dry, but I mean, you still got 3 solid ones, so might go ahead and go with a different position. Yeah, I'm gonna go with my boy Zach Moss. I feel like Zach Moss getting slept on. I need a third running back, so I'm gonna take Zach Moss right here. Yeah, I think Ingram with Ridley gone will see more downfield looks, so I think he'll catch more touchdowns. Don't think he'll catch quite as many overall passes, especially if Christian Kirk's healthy all year. But yeah, I still think Ingram will, it'll kind of, make up for itself, like the trade off there, kind of like with Brees, the touchdown trade off with the receptions. Like, so I still think I have him tied in 6 overall.
Yeah, I think for me, he's probably right 5 or 6, I think.
For sure, man. JSN, man, I like it. He's someone that I thought about right there, but I was like, man, I don't know if he makes it back to me, that'd be cool, which he obviously didn't. But do you think JSN is going to be the clear 2 this year ahead of Tyler Lockett?
I think by the end of the season, most likely. I don't know if it'll be right away week 1, but obviously, as my wide receiver 4, I don't need him, right away for the most part. I mean, we kind of saw it trending late last season towards JSN kind of taking over as the number 2 in some weeks. Obviously, it's a new offense this season, so a lot of changes and all of that. But, we saw a lot of 3 wide receiver sets from Ryan Grubb at Washington last year. So I think we're going to see that again here with Seattle with this receiving trio. But I still like Lockett. I think he can still be, he can still have his moments and have his plays. But I think we kind of saw as the season ended last year, kind of him start to tail off a little bit until he caught the game-winning touchdown last season in the last week when the Seahawks beat the Cardinals when they were out of the playoffs after the Packers beat the Bears and all that. But yeah, I think he'll still have his moments, but I think overall JSN is who I'm drafting over Lockett, which seems pretty consensus this year.
For sure. And just wanted to let everyone know we're pausing it here real quick. I'm going to change the clock to 30 seconds so we can get this thing wrapped up here. So the last 6 rounds will be 30-second clocks. Just want to let everyone know so we don't have a mess up like last week where they had an auto pick. So let's hope the clock works right. 3, 2, 1. All right, we're back underway. Wait, is it?
It's still 60.
It's still 60. Oh, man. It didn't save the changes. Well, if I did all that, now we're going to have to – live TV, people, my bad, y'all. We're going to have to then go back. I thought, man, I guess, yeah, it didn't update when I hit it the last time. I hit it twice, so now it better work. All right. Now we're back underway. And why does it only give the man 15 seconds? B-man, let me know if you get autoed, like, let me know if you want me to change the pick. In that instance, I will do the commish change. All right, let me pause it. Let me pause it again because I know that's not fair to him. So we're going to – all right. We're going to do 10-second runoff. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. Well, I gave him Gus. Like I said, if you want somebody different, chime in, bro, and we'll make it happen. But if you don't speak up, well, I guess, yeah, you're right, Irish. Yeah, the thing just, yeah, I had it right. I messed up with it. We'll get it right. It's only episode 2. So, all right, my bad, B-man. Gus Bus there. That's a good value, bro. I wouldn't be mad at that. I like Gus Bus there, but yeah, I agree with your analysis on the Seahawks receivers. Again, my apologies for that mishap there. You're watching Mock Draft Monday for those just tuning in, y'all. Live Mock Draft Monday. We do this each and every week here on the Guru Nation podcast. Appreciate everyone for watching, liking, subscribing, all that jazz. We got our first ever sponsor tonight, Elysian Sports. For those that missed the info on them earlier, we'll plug them again before the grade. So, and we also have the links in the description and in the live chat there. So, Zach Charbonnet going Seahawks
Yeah, I
heavy.
thought for that was just for insurance for Kenneth Walker. I thought
Yeah.
about maybe waiting. I know I have 3 Seahawks, but 2 of them are on the bench, obviously. But I think that's like one of the few like kind of must. I think I know it can be a controversy with handcuffs and whether or not it's needed, but I think in certain backups it is needed, where the backup's going to be the clear workhorse. And I think we saw uh, Sparks and Charbonnet in certain plays and all that. And I think if anything was to happen to Walker, Charbonnet would take over the pretty clear workhorse role in that backfield. So since there is really nobody that stood out to me to an extreme degree in that range, I felt like just grabbing that insurance for my RB2 and Kenneth Walker with Charbonnet was the way to go. Cause I think if I waited until the next round, he maybe could have fell, but I just didn't want to take the risk.
Right, yeah, he probably wouldn't have made it back to you. So yeah, I like that. Ken Walker, he's a hard bruising runner to where I like Charbonnet as the insurance policy there. And I was gassing up the Titans offense earlier, and I've man of my word there that D Hop. I took D Hop there. I think D Hop still got something left in the tank. I took the rookie there, Lad McConkey. I figured you get a stable veteran there in the ninth with D Hop. Just a WR4. If he busts, well, no big deal. But hopefully he, still has something left in the tank. And and also if something would happen with Ridley, then he'd be back to being the de facto number one over there.
Yeah.
Shout out to Justin Fantasy Follow. Yes, sir. Yeah, Hopkins has kind of some mixed reviews. Xavier Worthy there, the rookie. What would you have done there, man? Would you have taken the veteran there at Hop, or would you feel like, he's too old, I'm gonna take the chance on another rookie?
I think in your kind of like where your receiver room was at, you kind of needed someone who's more safer. So I think Hopkins is a fine, pick there for where your receiving room was at up to that
For
point.
sure. Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. Yeah, because I needed some veterans. Shout out to Justin there, Fantasy Follow. I know my thoughts on Ladd. Yeah, I took Ladd there in the 7th. I think Ladd's going to do really well. I think he'll be their top target. We talked about that earlier. I think either one of Palmer or Quentin Johnson could do well, but I think, like Ladd will definitely be one of the top 2. I don't think all 3 will eat because it'll be a low pass volume thing, but I think at least 2 will out of those 3, and I think Ladd will be one of the 2. There goes. Go ahead.
Like we were saying before, I think Ladd. I think he's probably the most talented in that receiving room. So I think he's going to be the maybe not the downfield threat like I was saying, but the more consistent target for Herbert, kind of in the short to intermediate passing game, which I think for PPR as like a pretty safe wide receiver 3. Kind of like the prime Hunter Renfrow days with the Raiders when he was, a really safe wide receiver 3. Whenever that was, like 3 or 4 years ago, I think he can be.
Yeah, Clark peppered him before they got Devontae Adams.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's why I'm not as high on like a Brock Bowers because when you got a guy like Devontae Adams, man, it just makes it tough on everybody else from a fantasy perspective.
Yeah.
But yeah, Chargers, they don't have any target hogs. They traded Keenan Allen. So, that's the blueprint right there. Keenan Allen, we saw what he did all those years with Herbert. So, next man up, Ladd McConkey. And Justin, he's way better than Renfrow. Yeah, I think, he's just a rookie. So, he might, definitely think long term he's got the.
No, yeah, like talent-wise, he's better than Renfrow. I was talking about like role-wise in terms of.
Right, yeah, situation.
I wasn't comparing them talent-wise, Justin, just kind of role-wise. I think they'll have that kind of similar role.
Right on, man. Let's see. I'm going to go ahead and take a chance on Romeo Dobbs right here. I wanted Jaden Reed, but I didn't get him, so I'll get the consolation prize there with Romeo Dobbs. He did really well last season in the playoffs. There's going to be a high pass volume offense there in Green Bay. So I'll take the chance on him. Watson, that's it. He's got his role, the deep role, and then Reed's got his role. So I think Dobbs, there'll still be enough to go around for him to be relevant. Blake Corum. I like it.
Usually this is the range where I like taking more chances on rookies.
Yeah.
And kind of backup running backs who I think would be the pretty clear I think he would be the pretty clear lead back if anything happened to Kyron Williams. So this is where I like taking shots on those kind of backups that I think have those clear roles if anything happened to the starter.
Right, yeah, because with the Rams, I mean, we already know how that's going to go down. If something happens to Kyron, boom, Blake Corum will become a workhorse.
Yeah.
He did it at Michigan. That's a run-heavy offense, so
yeah,
he's capable. Oh, there goes Goff. Yeah, finally some quarterbacks. I think everyone's got their QB now. I don't think anyone's.
I think I might be.
Oh, yeah, you're the only one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know you've been known to play the waiting game on the QBs. Keeps it going, Jahan Dotson. All right.
Yeah, I was looking at quarterback there, but even if a few people take backups here, there's still enough available to where I'm pretty comfortable. But I don't know. There are some times where I'll take somebody like in the 4th, 5th round. We were talking about Anthony Richardson obviously earlier as my QB4. I think I'll probably have some of him, kind of in that 4th, 5th round range in some leagues. But I think, obviously you kind of want to mix it up as well. And I was talking about how we were talking about McLaurin and how I like Jaden Daniels. I think that can also lead to John Dotson. Really kind of stepping up into. I think it could even be like Steele Watson. I think it can be like a low end wide receiver 2, high end flex type of play if things pan out how I think they could with Jaden Daniels in the offense. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think there's value there. I got Dotson late last week, so yeah, I think there's some upside there for sure. Jaden Daniels definitely could support 2 receivers. He did it with LSU with Malik Neighbors and Brian Thomas. So yeah, I like the Dotson pick. And I got Kendrick Miller right there on my New Orleans Saints. I think he could do really well in Clint Kubiak's system. Being that it's that zone run scheme, I think Miller's a good fit for that. He's a bigger back. He's a huge back, but I mean he's got a good all around build. I feel like I'm optimistic about him as long as he can stay healthy. I think he could be a good all around back. Kamara still be the main receptions guy, I'm sure, but I think Miller might catch 20 or 30. Could get 5 or 6 touchdowns, and if the Saints offensive line pans out well in that Kubiak scheme, I think Kendrick Miller could get 800 to 900 yards there, and I might be undershooting him on the touchdowns. So, yeah, I like Kendrick Miller. Fundamental Bear, what up, bro? He agrees with you, Ari, about Dotson. It's so much better than McLaurin, who always disappoints. I mean, McLaurin just kind of is what he is. Like, I wouldn't say he always disappoints, but he never wows you. Where Dotson, you're getting him late, and he might wow you at the price you're getting him.
Yeah, I don't know. I still like McLaurin. I still think he's done what he could, just given his situation throughout his career so far. And like I said, I like Jaden Daniels as a player and what he can bring to this Washington offense. So, where did McLaurin go? Was it the 4th round in this draft?
No, he's a 6. He went at a good value.
Round. Yeah, I mean, I think there's not too much risk with McLaurin given his upside.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Those Commanders receivers, really good values. Who do you see being the biggest surprise this year? That's a tough one. I mean, there's so many potential surprises. I mean, just looking at the board here, I mean, Brian Thomas, I think, could be a big surprise. He's not getting as much hype as some of these other rookies, but with Calvin Ridley going, I think he could do really good. As far as the guy right next to him, Deontay Johnson, if that Panthers offense takes the next step like we're thinking, I mean, he could be a pleasant surprise. I mean, there's so many. Chase Brown, Zach Moss flames out, then Chase Brown could end up being a steal. So those are just a few right there that just come to mind. I'm sure you've got plenty as well, Ari. I mean, there's so many potential surprises.
Yeah, I mean, like we're just talking about, I think Dotson could be, I think he could end up being like a middle round value going this late. So he's probably my biggest. I don't know if he's a surprise, but I think Christian Kirk can kind of get back on to where he was a couple years ago this year, with Calvin Ridley gone out of Jacksonville. Yeah, those are a couple, but obviously there's always a lot of names, and like I said, this is just my second mock draft, so I'm still kind of diving into draft mode and kind of targets late in the double digit rounds and all of that.
For sure, man. Man, this stupid auto pick took my Marshawn Lloyd. Man, that's BS. Oh man. Oh, but yeah, I agree with those, man. Yeah, there's plenty of good sleeper picks. Like, you know what? Flojo brought him up earlier. I'm gonna grab him here, man. Ricky Pearsall, give him to me. I'll take the chance. Tua. There goes the QB.
I was between him and Purdy, but me having Tyreek Hill was enough of a tiebreaker for me to I'm not one to force stacks or anything, but if I can get the stack, at this late, I'll take it.
Fact, bro. Man, Purdy. Wow, what a slide. I'm sure he'll go before I pick again, but I have Strauss, I'm not tripping. But man, if Purdy would fall, I'd probably take him. Yeah, I knew that wasn't gonna. Yeah, come on. That's a nasty QB room there, Irish. Kyler and Purdy. Whew, man. That's nice. Nice duo there. Pat Freiermuth. He goes off the board here. Yeah, that aggravates me, the Marshawn Lloyd thing, because, there's still a few other running backs that you could take a chance on, but I just really was about to, I just feel good about having the insurance, but,
Yeah.
It is what it is. Let's see. Yeah, there's definitely some others here. I was talking about Quentin Johnston maybe being a value play. Who else? Where's Demario Douglas go? I know. Andrew, Boston Sports. That's his guy, and we agreed on that. We both were high on him, and so I know if Andrew's in one of my mocks, I know I'm gonna have to pull up Demario a little high because that's one of his guys. So
yeah, I like him a lot as well. That's another kind of receiving room that's wide open, and based on what I've heard so far out of mini camp and what they've had at camp so far, he seems to be the one who's kind of impressed the most. So we'll see if he can continue that into training camp. But there's opportunity there, no matter who's under center, for someone to be a target hog.
Yes, indeed. I'll take Dalton Schultz right here because I think, and then you got Ben Sinnott there, the rookie, going young with pair with Kelsey. So I like that.
He's probably one of my favorite. Usually there's one or two tight ends I really like, kind of in the 10th to 13th round, and I think Schultz and Kmet, who just went, are both safer. But for just drafting a backup, I'd rather take the higher upside, which I see that in Sinnott, where he could be the starter right away.
Right. Yeah, he could. Zach Ertz is on his last leg, so wow, that's a hot take. Emmanuel, not that hot of a take. AJ Dillon sucks. Yeah, I could see it. Yeah, Marshawn Lloyd, that'd be good for Marshawn Lloyd. Make him the clear-cut second string. Antonio Gibson, that's a good value. Yeah, there's a lot of these good value running backs. That's why I wasn't really tripping, because it's with 4 running backs in this, that's really all you need. There's so many that pop up on the waiver wire.
Yeah, for sure.
Antonio, Luke Musgraves, yeah. So, a good amount of QBs there, about 16 off the board. Or 17, something like that. That's usually about how many go. There'll probably be a bunch in the last round. No defense or kickers, y'all. We don't mess with that. IDP. Ari, have you played any IDP leagues?
I don't. I haven't really touched into that yet.
I hear you, man. Yeah, I play in a few. We had those fantasy hustler leagues that do the IDPs, and now we got a new one. The Gin Wealth Dynasty that's including IDPs. I think I've only done a couple redraft IDPs, mainly just Dynasty. I kind of like the Dynasty with IDPs because it gives you more to pick from and all that. But it's definitely different. I like it at times. Other times I'm like, damn it, man, it's tough to kind of set your lineup because you just got so many things that have to mess around with. So It's good if you're really into fantasy, not that good for the casual player. I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, for sure.
Because yeah, for the casual, you're probably just like, what the hell is all these extra spots? It's kind of like been in some fantasy baseball leagues where you have a lot of extra spots. Or like the one with me and you, that the points league, that one's pretty straightforward. Like a starting 9 and then a pitching rotation.
Yeah.
Bro, I had a heartbreaker in that. Like I have freaking. The way Ari scores them, it's the points where you get the pitchers, man, they can do really good, but they can also do really bad. I picked up this young pitcher for the Orioles. Dude got negative 22 points.
Oh, yeah, yeah, that was against the A's, right, when they scored in, 19.
Yeah, Cade Povich, I
Yeah,
think.
Povich.
Povich. Yeah, I was like, oh, man. And they didn't make it even worse. I had Yandy Diaz on the bench who had a 3-run homer and had 12. I was like, oh. This wasn't meant to be. I was on a 4-game winning streak, so yeah, just
Still in
those
you're still in a good spot.
Yeah, I'm still on track to make the playoffs, so not too bad. Just short term annoyance.
Yeah.
Let's see. What I'm gonna cap this thing off with here. Could go to QB. Yeah, I'll go with Stafford. I'll go with Stafford as my backup. Almost went with Levis to really go all in with the Titans, but I just feel like Stafford in that McVay system, had to grab him right there. Fourth and Flex, what up, bro? Shout out to the Fourth and Flex podcast. Who's got the better of each other in leagues you played against each other over the years? Yeah, and that IG experts. I think how many times have you won it, Ari? Twice?
Yeah, twice. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think I've won it once, so Ari's got a slight edge over me there, but we both made the playoffs a bunch.
Yeah, I feel like we're both in the playoffs like pretty much every year for the most part.
Yeah, pretty much. I've had a couple off years in there, because I mean it's a tough league, so I can't make it every year, but I've definitely made it like 80% of the time, I'd say.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Oh, that's the draft, y'all. That's the draft. So, yep, there it is. We'll do our grades here in just a minute. You guys play underdog. I don't do much underdog. I'd kind of like to get into it, but I only have so much time in a day. What about you, Ari?
Yeah, I'm assuming you're asking, or do you mean
best ball?
Best ball.
I think,
okay,
yeah, best ball.
Best ball. I haven't gotten into it, but I know it's getting really, really popular. For those who like to do stuff all year round for fantasy football, because now they have, you can draft basically any day you want. I think, whatever in the off season. I haven't gotten into it, but I know it's popular.
Right on, man. All right, so before we get to our grades, we got our Elysian Sports shout out for those that missed it. It's addicting. Yeah, all right. Yeah, maybe I should stay away from it. I might get into it at some point. All right, y'all. Let's shout them out. Elysian Sports, everybody. Elysian Sports, they're killing it with daily sports betting picks from a professional handicapper, 55% hit rate. So they're actually making money. They're not one of these fugazi things that says they're making money, but they're not. They show all their picks, 100% transparent, 100% free. Catch on to them before they start asking you to pay for their stuff. Right now, they're 100% free. They're making money. So really appreciate them sponsoring us today. Elysian Sports, we got the link in the description and in the live chat. So once again, shout out to them and thank Owen and Gus for sponsoring our show tonight. All right, let's get into these grades here. We'll go. What did we do last? I forgot what we did last week. If someone wants to say, let me know. But I think we went 1-12 last week. So I guess we'll go 12-1 this week. We'll start it off with Mega Moon. Mega Moon has got, and Ari for the draft grades, man. We just do a letter grade system. If you really like it, I mean, even A+. I don't know if I've ever given out an A+. I tend to grade pretty tough on this stuff. So, but, if you think it's just, I mean, like B, obviously pretty good. C, kind of F, and anything below that. Well, if you missed the boat, we normally don't ever give out D's or F's. Pretty much everyone that drafts here knows what they're doing. So, Let's get into it. Puka Nakua, Devontae Adams, DJ Moore ripping off a trio of stud receivers, and then Josh
This
Allen.
was the one where the first 4 picks were auto, if you remember.
Oh, this was an auto team? Was the whole thing auto?
No, just for the first I believe 4 picks, and then
oh, okay.
From I believe round 5, it was either round 4 or 5 on they were there.
Okay, thanks for that context. Yeah, if the whole thing was auto, we'll just skip it and move on to the next one. But I see Mega Moon's in here, so okay, so he is a little late, but he got the rest of his stuff in. All right, so first 4 all good. Auto pick did him no disservice there. He got all good players. And Aaron Jones, James Conner, a couple of veteran backs, Evan Ingram, Raheem Mostert, Jameson Williams, Curtis Samuel, Chuba Hubbard, J.K. Dobbins, J.J. McCarthy, and Taysom Hill. Yeah, this one, I don't know, man. I kind of like the first 4 hour auto, honestly. And then I don't hate it, but it's just a lot of older backs. No real rookies. I mean, McCarthy, but I mean, it's like that. Yeah, I'll admit I'm not a huge fan of this one, but what say you, Ari?
Yeah, I mean, obviously you can't really go wrong with Puka and Devontae to start. I'm not like super bullish on DJ Moore this year with, them bringing in Keenan Allen and Odunze. I think he could be fine in that range, but I'd probably go elsewhere. I think Allen, Josh Allen in round 4 is fine. And redraft, I'm not as worried as you seem to be about kind of older backs. I think that's a pretty for not having taken a running back till was that 5-12, so basically round 6. I think that's a pretty solid trio of running backs with Jones, Connor, Mostert. I like the value with Ingram. I'm not really huge on anybody though, like on the bench late. So I'd probably I don't really do like grades like that usually. I usually just like kind of give my analysis, but I'll just do it, for the purpose of this. I guess probably like a B-, C+ kind of in that range.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair. Appreciate you doing the grades. That's just a tradition here on the Guru Nation podcast. But I'll go C+. I can't quite give it a B. I'll go with the plus because, man, that Josh Allen 4-1, man, that's a hell of a value. I would hope he'd have done that without the auto pick. I think he would have. That to me is a no-brainer. So, yeah, I feel like the bench a little sketch, but the starting lineup good. So, Jones and Connor, Mostert, I mean, they should get the job done. So, not bad, but, just a little nitpicky with the bench. So, Murph Dog up next. Murph Dog's got A.J. Brown, Marv Jr., Rashad White, Malik Neighbors. 2 rookie wideouts there. That's bold, but, I mean, obviously the 2 best, so can't really argue with it. Joe Mixon, Kyle Pitts, Devin Singletary, Deontay Johnson, Jerome Ford, Dak Prescott, Mike Williams, Troy Franklin, Kiami Vidal, the Chargers rookie, and Deshaun Watson. Yeah, this one looks pretty good. I mean, I can't complain too much. He got, who's his RB1 there? It's hiding behind the thing. Oh, Rashad White. Okay, yeah, White, Mixon. Yeah, decent little backfield, I don't mind it. The receivers, Wait Young there, but, some pretty good depth. Dak and Watson, not mad at that. The only thing, I'm not a big fan of Pitts, but he did admit that he wanted to take Pickens there instead, so I'll cut him a little slack about the Pitts thing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm good with the first really 3 picks, I would say. I feel like Neighbors is kind of polarizing because, like, I get that he's probably the wide receiver 1, or at least he has a chance to be in the receiving room, but I still think for me he's more like a mid to late 4th where I value him. There's still like I still think guys like Pittman and Devontae Smith are both a little bit safer to me, than Neighbors in that 4th round range. I'm good with Mixon as your RB2 that late. I'm fine with Pitts. Obviously, he's hurt people in the past, but new offense, new quarterback, new everything. So I'm fine taking a shot on Pitts. I know it was supposed to be Pickens, but I'm fine with Pitts in that 6th round range this year if you believe in him. Dak and Watson. I like the Ford pick late. So overall, I think this is pretty similar for me. Not to give the same grade every team, obviously, but I think another kind of B- C+ borderline in that range for me.
For sure. I'll go ahead and give this one a B. I think it's very well balanced. I always preach balance because you never know with trades. You can't always depend on trades. So I like to draft with a balanced approach. I feel like this one's very balanced. No real weaknesses. I'm not a huge Pitts fan, but I mean, tight end, if you're going to be weak somewhere, tight end is the spot to be weak at. So I'll give it a B. I'm trying to be a little more generous this week. So I'll give it a B. Good job there by Murph Dog. Let's move on to FF Dan. He's got Garrett Wilson, JT, James Cook, Jalen Hurts, Tank Dell, Terry McLaurin, Jake Ferguson, Brian Thomas, B-Rob, Brian Robinson, Chase Brown, Xavier Legette, Josh Palmer, Luke Musgrave, and Kirk Cousins. So pretty good, it looks like. Quarterbacks, obviously very good. Can't complain there. Going Hurts early. JT and Cook, strong duo there, and then B-Rob and Chase Brown, good depth. Garrett Wilson, a good one. Tank Dell, McLaurin, Thomas. Yeah, I mean, it all looks pretty good. Fergie, I mean, yeah, I don't really see much to gripe about this one.
Yeah, I mostly agree. I guess the only thing for me, which is kind of nitpicking a little bit for me, like James Cook in round 3, I'd rather take a receiver there or even just like a Russian quarterback there. Like I just don't really see a big enough upside in James Cook, to warrant a 3rd round pick. But I mean, I think it's still a fine pick. I just rather go with the upside, a quarterback with one of the elite quarterbacks or a receiver there, and then wait for maybe the 4th round for. I'm trying to see who, or I guess 4th round was right after that. But I'd rather wait for the tier of like Kamara, Walker, Mixon, Jones, Connor. Personally, I'd rather wait for that tier for RB2 and, take a different position than kind of 4th running back there, which, maybe Dan's, more bullish on Cook than I am, in which case, the pick could be fine, but that's just where I'm at. But I like this a little bit more probably than the other two. So I think it's a solid B for me still.
For sure, man. Yeah, I'll give this one a B+. Not quite an A, because everybody had a receiving core, not quite strong enough, but it's good though. I mean, and everything else good about it. So I like this one. JT. If he'd have gone Saquon instead of JT, I love Saquon this year over JT. So I'd have said A-, but I'm being a little nitpicky, but still like this. This is in the highest grade so far. B+ for Dan. Good, really good job, man. Justin liked it as well. Said nice squad. Up next, with one of our new mock drafters, Go to Sleep. Go to sleep. Well, hopefully he woke up for this, because you better be awake if you want to have a good team here. You have Jahmyr Gibbs, Saquon, DK Metcalf, Patrick Mahomes, George Kittle, Chris Godwin, Rashee Rice, Jalen Warren, Cortland Sutton, Khalil Shakir, Josh Downs, Tyler Algier, Antonio Gibson, and Quentin Johnston. Let's see. So no backup quarterback or tight end. I mean, not that mad at that, but I mean, Mahomes, Mahomes is going to be Mahomes. George Kittle, though, I'd have probably wanted a backup tight end for him. But, I mean, as long as he's healthy, Kittle's a must start still. The receivers, I mean, Rashee Rice, there's a big gamble, but if it pays off, it'll be sitting pretty. DK is a 1, makes me a little nervous. He's got 2 stud RBs, though. Gibbs and Saquon, Warren, Algier. There's a pretty good depth there. Yeah, that's my thoughts.
Yeah, I like the first 4 picks a lot. Kittle, just a player for me. Like, I'm probably never really going to draft just with his inconsistency on a week-to-week basis and also injury.
Yeah.
I guess never say never. Like, if he falls to like 7th, 8th round, that's where I'd consider him. But I just think there's too much value at other positions and too many tight ends kind of in the 6th to 10th round range that I like enough to where I'd rather just keep building up, running back to my receiver at that point over Kittle, who obviously will have his big gains, but it just comes on a super inconsistent basis, and then mixed with his injuries. But I guess if they do trade Ayuk, if that does happen, then that changes things a bit. Obviously, it opens up things more for Kittle a little bit. But it's also the other thing is like they like to, use him as a blocker a lot, which can be frustrating, obviously, for fantasy purposes. So just a guy that I personally will just don't invest in unless he really, really falls. So, but again, that's really just kind of nitpicking on my end.
I hear you. I'll give this one a B. I think it's pretty good. The Rashee Rice thing, if he doesn't get a big suspension, it could make it better. But at this point, 7th round's about fair for him, So, yeah, I feel like the Kittle thing kind of nervous without a backup. But, I mean, the backfield's really good. Receiver room, yeah, maybe, yeah, B. I'll be generous, though, and say B.
Yeah, I agree. I still think even with my rant or whatever you want to call it on Kittle, I still think it's solid overall, solid B.
Joseph up next. Bijan, Drake London start off with that Falcons duo. But I mean, they're supposed to be better, so we'll see. Mike Evans, Michael Pittman, Zay Flowers, DeAndre Swift, Jordan Addison, David Njoku, Keon Coleman, Jordan Love, Jaden Daniels, Jalen Wright, Cole Kmet, and Tyrone Tracy, the rookie running back for the Giants. So he definitely didn't stay away from rookies completely, but he definitely was more disciplined this time and didn't take so many of them early. His backfield, I mean, pretty much went hero RB there with Bijan. Swift a decent too, though, and his receiver room, pretty strong there. Has a lot of big names. Njoku, pretty good there. Tight end, Love and JD. Strong QB room. Yeah, I mean, Joseph definitely stepped up his game here. It's just the Falcons duo, man. It's hard for me to get past that. And that's not just me being a Saints fan. That's just me being objective because we don't know, even with Kirk Cousins, I mean, we don't know if that offense is going to be what they're all thinking it's going to be. They got to show me something before I'm willing to invest my first 2 picks in guys that play for them.
Yeah, I mean, I'm probably a little bit more bullish on the Falcons than you are. I mean, obviously, part of fantasy is projecting, so obviously we won't know until we see it. But I think that they'll, assuming Cousins is healthy week 1, which as of right now seems to be the case. But even then, like I was saying, when the pick is made, I value London more, probably several picks a little bit later in the second round. So even still, I probably would have went elsewhere there, but. I don't mind the hero running back strategy here. If like I like Evans, Pittman. I think maybe would have went running back over Flowers, but I think Flowers is fine. Definitely would have went. I definitely would have prioritized Algier. Having Bijan. That's another backfield I think where you kind of have to have the handcuff, at least in my opinion, to be safe, especially when you go hero RB where you're already thin as is at running back. So I probably would have prioritized Tyler Algier. I don't know where Algier went, but I probably would have prioritized him around where I drafted Charbonnet to, as insurance for Walker, kind of in that 9th and 10th round range. If I could go back, I like the quarterback room a lot with Love and Daniels. If I could go back, I probably would have taken Daniels over Dodson. And I think that was the 11th round. I probably would have taken Daniels over Dotson and just kind of taken a depth receiver with my next pick in the 12th round. But I like that quarterback room a lot. And I like Komet's fine, backups in the Njoku. So another pretty solid, I think pretty safe, solid overall team for the most part, other than running back depth, which isn't the end of the world, I would say. But I definitely would have. I think the biggest thing I would have done is that he didn't do was prioritize Algier behind Bijan.
Yeah, he's got a good eye for talent, Joseph does, that's for sure. He just tends to he does these unconventional strategies. But yeah, Keon is a 6, and I'll go ahead. He's saying he's prepared for a C+. You know what? I'll be a little nicer this week. I like a lot of the guys he assembled here. With some good trades, that's a playoff team. But even without trades, you could maybe sneak in. I'll give it a B-.
Yeah, I'm with you on that B-.
Yeah, because it's one of those things. Talent-wise, it's one of the best teams, but it's just kind of, I don't know. The receivers all could hit, but he's gonna have trouble knowing who to play out of all those. But And then the QB is going to be tough to know who to play. Yeah, this is a deal that if you could swing some good trades, this team could end up a monster. All right, Boston Sports up next. Shout out to Andrew. He's got Jets Jefferson, Travis Etienne, Stephon Diggs, Mark Andrews, Joe Burrow, Keenan Allen, Javonte Williams, Tyler Spears, Nick Chubb, Tyler Lockett, Demario Douglas, Ty Chandler, Bucky Irving, and Adam Thielen. All right, so right off the rip goes Jets. I mean, I'm not a huge Jefferson fan this year, like I mentioned off top, but as a WR1 there, that's the 7th pick. Like, I can't complain. Then got Diggs. Not a huge Diggs fan this year, but I mean, he should still do well in the new offense, being that they throw a lot. Keenan Allen was a good value. So overall, decent WR room. The running back room, he's a big Javonte guy. I'm not as big on Javonte, but decent depth. Chubb in the 9th was a nice value. Ty Chandler late could hit. ETN, not the greatest one, but I mean, you know what you're getting there at ETN. And Andrews and Burrow, good tight end QB deal. No backup at either position, though.
Yeah, I'm pretty much mostly good with, I'd say, the first 4 picks. I think Burrow's fine, but I think he's like a pretty safe pick. I'd just rather go running back or receiver if I can't lay on like a rushing type of quarterback in that range. That's just me personally. Obviously, it's all personal preference when it comes to especially quarterback. It's just given you can go so many different ways. But personally, if I'm not drafting someone like Richardson with that rushing upside there, I'd rather wait on quarterback. I'm good with Keenan Allen. At that point, I'm not. Like, I get Jonte's now a full year removed from his injury, so I get the appeal in that regard. But as your immediate, it's another team that went one RB early and then waited for RB2. I'm not like super confident with Javonte as like an immediate RB2. I think there's a world where that could pan out, where he could be a fine mid to low end RB2, but I'm not like super confident drafting wise like that. I'm fine with Spears and Chubb, I guess. Like that's for that kind of draft route where you wait on running back. I think that's fine. Obviously, Nick with Chubb, it's still a complete unknown what's going to happen with him. Like he could be ready week 4 or 5, or he could be ready week 11, 12. We don't really know. So hopefully, training camp will know more. He's a guy in one of my keeper leagues I'm looking at keeping potentially. So I'm waiting for more news on his status, which is like completely up in the air right now. I like the Lockett Douglas picks, depth wise at wide receiver late. So yeah, another pretty solid B minus in that range for me.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's B minus, C plus. This one to me wasn't one of Andrew's drafted some really good teams in the past. This isn't one of my favorites from him, but not bad.
Yeah, I guess I'd probably say B minus just because of the running back for me with Javonte. But I mean, there's a world where it could pan out, obviously.
Agreed. Let's move on now to
I think this team was Otto. I think remember because they took Lloyd. I don't know how long it was Otto for, but
this one was autoed. Yeah, I think this one got.
I think it was for like half the draft, and if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, okay. So yeah, he had Amon-Ra, Kyron, Cup, Kirk. Well, that definitely wasn't auto. Cup and Kirk, he pulled them way up over ADP. A-Rich, Stevens, and I think this is when the auto began with Bowers because they gave him a bunch of rookies. Yeah, Dunze, Worthy, Caleb, rankings must still be in dynasty mode. Hawk, Marshawn Lloyd, Cooks, Jalil McLaughlin. Yeah, I don't like this. Yeah, you can tell there are a lot of autos, and then he reached on a lot of guys. Rich and Caleb, that's a good QB room, even though it's young. But I mean, the tight end Bowers, Hawk, I don't like that at all. With Hawk coming off injury and Bowers being unknown, that's not the tight end room you want. Amon-Ra's a great one, but I mean, Cup getting up there, Kirk, I mean, pulled up a little too high. Yeah, this is the worst team so far by far, I'd say. I hate to be mean, but I mean, you automatically get a deduction by being autoed for that much. So this is
pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in a good mood today. I'll be nice. C minus, but if I wasn't in a good mood, this thing would get a. Yeah, I'll just leave it at that. Let's move on to my squad here. Brees Hall, Olave, Josh Jacobs, Trey McBride, CJ Stroud, Calvin Ridley, Lab McConkey, Zach Moss, D Hop, Romeo Dobbs, Kendre Miller, Ricky Pearsall, Dalton Schultz, Matthew Stafford.
I like I think it's a pretty I think both of our teams are both for the most part pretty safe and stable. That's how I view both of our teams. I'm good with Hall, Olave, Jacobs, McBride, Stroud. I don't mind. It's kind of like Burrow for me, where it's I'd rather wait on quarterback than take him. Also, I know he's with the season he had last year, and for good reason. He's he couldn't make up with his passing numbers with the offense for not rushing too much. He couldn't make up for it with finishing top 2 to 3 and passing yards and touchdowns and all that. So I don't mind it. For waiting on receiver, I think it turned out about as well as you probably could have hoped for. With Ridley as your 2, McConkey as a kind of a 2/3. I think he could be. Hopkins is kind of a veteran late insurance for Ridley. Also, if anything happens to him, or vice versa, if anything happens to Hopkins, Ridley could take another step forward. I think Dobbs. I think just taking stabs on a lot of the Packers receivers can, just taking stabs on a lot of them late can kind of pan out in different ways. I'm good with Miller, Pearsall late, so I think it's a pretty solid overall.
For sure, yeah, Schultz average. But yeah, I mean, this isn't my best work. I feel like my team's all right, but yeah, just this thing didn't really fall the way I was hoping. I wanted Jamar Chase at 5. I wanted to start off WR heavy, but in the way it fell, I took Brees, and then just, man, the WRs just, they didn't really fall to me at the value I was hoping for. I mean, this was one of those ones where the WRs just went so damn early. I mean, just look at the Drake London thing, and I mean, obviously WRs rule the roost in PPR. I mean, but if you're not getting them at value, it's I feel like I got McBride at a really good price. And looking back on it, maybe I should have gone A-Rich over Stroud, because A-Rich definitely has more upside. I just feel like Stroud a little safer. And plus, I play in a lot of 6-point passing touchdown leagues still, so I'm a little biased toward the pocket passer. I know a lot of leagues are just the 4 points. So I'll admit in the 4-point, A-Rich probably would have been the move, but we don't really specify. I also play in some 5, some of these are 5. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, this isn't really my best work. I don't know. You want to give me a grade, Ari?
I think it's a solid B for me.
For sure. Appreciate that. I'll be a little hard on myself. I'll go B- because I feel like normally I do a little better, but it just goes to show how good this draft was as far as the strong participants in here. So really, shout out to everyone drafting with us. And now we're on the Ari's team here. We got Tyreek Hill, Derrick Henry, Travis Kelce, Devonta Smith, Ken Walker, David Montgomery. I like that Montgomery pick, man. Montgomery might get 15 touchdowns this year in that offense. And Jaden Reed, JSN, Zach Charbonnet, A. Blake Corum, John Dotson, Tua, Ben Sinnott, and Malachi Corley. How you feeling about it, man?
Yeah, like I said with your team, I think both our teams are pretty safe. I mean, at least for me personally, unless I take some extreme different strategy, I generally like most of my teams, because most of the teams I take are players that I target. I know there's different, because I'm in 7 to 8 plus different leagues every year. And, some people that like to diversify, players in each team. I'm usually someone who kind of just buys into my kind of core group of players and targets them in a lot of leagues, especially guys I can get in the middle rounds. His whole career, I've kind of been a Montgomery merchant. He's someone I've drafted a lot. Like last year, I drafted him a lot in that 4th, 5th, or I think it's kind of the same range. I think he was going last year.
Yeah, same. Yeah, 5th, 6th. Yeah, I got him in a lot of leagues too last year. He was great.
Yeah, and he's still going the same range this year. I like Gibbs. I have no problem with Gibbs in round 1 this year. I think even for me last year, I drafted them both in several leagues.
Get them both. Yeah.
Obviously, it didn't really work out early when Gibbs was kind of getting eased in. But I think this year it could really work out getting them both. I know kind of the second half of last year, Gibbs was kind of starting to take over more of the 1A role. I think that's going to be the case again this year. But I still think that there's room in that offense for both of them to be fine. I think Montgomery and Walker can both be RB2s. And so I'm pretty I'm for not for I guess not really waiting a running back, but for not taking two running backs too early. I really like those three. Obviously, I usually don't take tight end early, but I guess kind of try it out with Kelsey here and this mock. Obviously, I'm a little bit light at wide receiver, but I'm kind of confident enough in I think Reed's a pretty solid three, and then JSN's kind of an upside four, obviously. So um, I think it's these are players that I like, obviously. So I think I like my team, but I know obviously this route might not be for everybody, but yeah, I think it's pretty solid.
Yeah, I'm cool with it. The only little gripe I have is the quarterback, with just Tua. I'm not like a huge Tua fan, but I mean, the rest of it all looks good. I like the depth. I like the Kelsey move early, so I think it's a solid B.
Yeah, and obviously in one quarterback league, there's always going to be quarterbacks in the waiver wire too.
Yeah,
I could have drafted the backup over Malachi Corley, but I'm a big college football fan. I watched a lot of him at Western Kentucky, so
yeah, he
and I
could be
think
a beast.
even though Mike Williams is the watcher or two on paper, I think that could be up for grabs. I think for so and Rogers talked highly on Corley. Obviously, that could just be you know that could just be talk, obviously, but I think we could see something from him in training camp. So I'm willing. I'd rather just take a chance on him there, especially given I'm not super deep at wide receiver with this team. I'd rather take a chance on a rookie receiver or a young receiver. And then, I could always pick up a quarterback on the waiver wire if this was a real draft if I needed to.
For sure, man. Yeah. Definitely always options out there. And yeah, Corley, Mike Williams always hurt. So yeah,
Yeah.
that could definitely end up open there. Harbottle. That was a Harbottle, one of our regulars up in here. Let's see what he cooked up. CD, Laporta, A-Chain, Debo, Kamara, Najee, Hollywood Brown, Austin Eckler, Zeke, Jacoby Myers, Jared Goff, Trevor Lawrence, Gabe Davis, and Jalen Polk. Yeah, this one isn't one of my favorites. A-Chain is a one. I mean, it could pay off, but he's an efficiency guy. Doesn't really have the volume. I mean, he's got some depth that's pretty good there, but kind of shaky. His receivers, Debo, Hollywood. God, yeah, this Laporta. Yeah, damn, I don't know. I just feel like he took guys kind of at their ceiling, like Laporta, A-Chain. I mean, even Debo. I mean, he's getting at an age to where it's like, I don't think he's gonna be quite as good. I hate to hate on it because I mean he's got some talent for sure, but it's just kind of I don't know, not really my kind of build.
Yeah. I mean, I'm maybe a tiny bit higher on this team, though, I'm not sure I'm someone that would really I was all in on Laporta last year in the double digit rounds. I still
Yeah,
think he can be
same.
really I still think he can be really good, but it's kind of tough. Even with Kelsey last year, I think kind of going in the second round range out. I'm personally never really a person that takes a tight end that early, which
Yeah.
obviously it could pan out if the draft works out and you make the right moves during the season and all that. But I think it kind of makes your team look a tiny bit light at other positions, to where I'd rather just take a tight end later. So obviously, Laporte's going to go in the second round, and it could work out if you can have the right build and all that. But yeah, probably B minus C plus in that range for me.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll give it. I know he's got CD, but there's not really much else I got. I'll give it a C though, because I mean it's like he still got some dudes. I mean this team. It could hit, but I don't know. I mean, Goff and Lawrence, one of them could be all right as one, but just I feel like a lot of guys there that doesn't really, probably aren't going to live up to their draft position, but we shall see. Not bad, just not really the way I would have built it. But Irish Boy, we got two more to go. Irish Boy and B-Man, some more regulars here. Irish Boy, and I ain't forgot about your question, bro. I'll get to it after this in the DMs. Jamar Chase, Isaiah Pacheco, Jalen Waddle, Dalton Kincaid, Amari Cooper, George Pickens, Amir White, Kyler, Trey Benson, Gary Judy, Rashid Shaheed, Brock Purdy, Rico Dowdle, and Elijah Mitchell. Yeah, this one's pretty good. Yeah, Kyler and Purdy really like that. Pacheco, I mean, the running back, I like Pacheco, but the depth a little shaky behind him. The receiver room, though, Chase Waddle, Cooper Pickens, that's good. Kincaid's good. Really, the only gripe I have about this is the running back depth. Everything else looks good.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, White's another kind of one of those like running backs in that range where he could pan out as an RB2, but I'm not like super confident drafting him as that. Even though I mean seventh round for that late, I think the value I think in seventh round I think is a fine place to take a chance on him. Just not more as an RB3. I'd be more confident with. I probably would have went running back over maybe Kincaid or Amari Cooper, kind of in that. Probably would have taken running back there at that turn as your RB2. But I mean, I like it overall. I mean, I'm fine with Kincaid at that, in that range. If you like to go tight end, relatively early. I like the obviously Kyler and Purdy that late in the 8th and 12th rounds. You can't really beat that. I like the Shaheed pick with your Saints. I put a post out on Kubiak. I think it was a few days ago about what he can bring to the offense. I think Shaheed can, stepping into that clear wide receiver 2 role with Michael Thomas out of the picture could really sneakily be a top 30 receiver, potentially, I think, if he can step into that consistent role, which it seems like he should be. So I think he's probably going to be someone I target a lot in the double-digit rounds this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he could pop off for sure. Yeah, he got him late here, I'm guessing. Yeah, he did to
Yeah,
11th
right.
round. I like
Yeah.
I like Shaheed. Yeah, Kubiak's system could really do him well. Yeah, Irish. I'm normally a little harsh on Irish because he likes to kind of take chances. But this one, I like the chances he took here. I'll give him a B+.
Yeah, I'm probably a little bit lower just because of the running back room. And like we're talking about with Pickens, I mean, end around 6, that's fine if you like Pickens, but probably would have went different places in a few areas. So probably another B- for me. Not to keep giving the same grades over and over, but I think a lot of these teams are all relatively, even for the most part. Nothing
Yeah.
like nothing, especially except for the one auto where the auto from Bowers on. Except for that team, well, obviously that's just auto pick, obviously, so you can't really expect much from that.
Right. Yeah, usually all heavy hitters here. Man, we might have to. Maybe we'll do one. Maybe we'll have to do a second mock draft. We'll do one because everyone in here is so damn good. We'll do one for beginners. I feel like these are just like everyone's so damn good. And yeah, I got you, man. I thought you cooked up something good there. So B-Man up next, our last team to grade. CMC, Ayuk, Nico, Lamar, T. Higgins, Tony Pollard, Jonathan Brooks, Christian Watson, Gus the Bus. That was an auto pick that I offered her to change it because of the clock mishap when I transitioned to 30-second clock, but he ended up with Gus, and I thought that was good value, honestly. I didn't think the auto pick messed him up there. And then Adonai Mitchell, Dallas Goedert, Pat Freiermuth, Justin Herbert, liked him as a 2, and then Dontavian Wicks, another one of those Packers guys. Yeah, I mean, the quarterback room's good. Tight ends weighted, but I think Goddard could have a nice year with Kellen Moore calling the plays. Running backs, Pollard a little shaky as a 2, but I mean Brooks and Gus, one of them could break out. The receivers, a decent trio there with Ayuk, Collins, T. Let's see the depth here. Yeah, Wicks, Adna. Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah. Another team. It seems like we had several teams that waited for their RB2s, pretty late. I'm kind of in the same boat where like Pollard could work out, best case scenario. But I'm not like super confident heading into the season that way. Obviously, Brooks could be the RB2 for this team by the second half of the season. I think right now he's still recovering from his ACL tear, so he's probably not going to be the lead back week 1 unless he has some huge recovery, because the last I saw that he wasn't going to be fully healthy entering training camp. So I kind of imagine that he won't be fully healthy for the start of the season. Obviously, there's still 2 months, so he could be. But as of right now, I'm going under the assumption that he'll be someone who could take over by the second half of the season. So, I don't mind him in that range. I like the receiving room for the most part. I like Christian Watson, taking a chance on him at the end of round 8 there. Obviously, Lamar's fine. I think Goddard and Farmer, they're fine for waiting on tight end. So probably another team where I think it's pretty steady overall. Just not what I prefer to do at running back in that regard. But that's me.
Yeah, for sure. At least he has CMC. I mean, so he's got the hero
I guess I was
there.
also going to say that's another route where I probably would prioritize the backup with Elijah Mitchell, assuming.
Did he get him? No, Irish, I think, got him. Yeah, Irish got Elijah Mitchell. He took him one before. That was sneaky.
Yeah. In the last round, though, I probably, that's a case where you want to get your handcuff, in like the 10th and 12th round if you can. But I guess that backfield's kind of, I guess, I don't know for sure if Mitchell is, I guess right now he's on paper, he's a clear backup, but with the injuries that he deals with, himself as well, I don't know if he's really the clear number 2 necessarily. I'm not.
Yeah, that's true. Because they drafted Isaac
Garando.
Yeah, and then they also have Cody Schrader from Mizzou as a UDFA. So it wouldn't shock me if Elijah Mitchell doesn't make the roster. I hope he does. Shout out to UL to Raging Cajuns. He's a Raging Cajuns alum, so I'm always rooting for him. I covered him in high school too. Shout out to Erath High. Went to Erath High. It was a school not far from me, but yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I wasn't that worried about that. I think for this one though, it's like I'll give it a B. I would say B-, but I'll cut him a little slack because of the auto situation with Gus, and I don't even mind Gus there. So I think the only thing is the running back, like after CMC, they're a little shaky. But I mean, those guys that could hit, and the rest, tight end, he waited. I feel like they're good. Quarterback room's fine. Receiver depth fine. I'll give it a B.
Yeah, I'd probably go B-, but right in that same range.
Right on, man. All right, we got through it, y'all. We got through it. There we go. All 12 teams graded. There y'all go. Take that for what y'all will. All right, so that's another Mock Draft Monday in the books. Ari, any final thoughts before we sign off?
No, nothing from me. Thank you again for having me on. It was a lot of fun.
For sure, man. Yeah, thank you. And let them know. At Fantasy Football Expert, let them know what the content you got coming up.
Yeah, Fantasy.Football Expert on Instagram. Yep. This is probably a slower off-season for me content-wise than most years. I mean, I'm still been on my account every day answering questions and messages and whatnot, but content-wise, probably the slowest off-season for me, probably maybe since I've been running the account, but that'll be picking up, soon as we get into training camp. Probably I think next week some camps start. So yeah, just a lot of content every day, and yeah, looking forward to another fun season.
Right on, man. Yeah, same here. Can't wait to get this 2024 season underway. We've still got plenty more Mock Draft Mondays to come. They'll be gone before we know it. And then we'll have our followers draft the Monday before the season. We're finally doing the Monday Followers League. We've been teasing it the past couple of years. We're doing it this year. So stay tuned. Spots will be coveted, I'm sure. So we'll talk more about that later, y'all. But yeah, thanks everyone that tuned in. Thanks again to Elysian Sports, our sponsor for the day. And yeah, that'll do it for this one, y'all. For Ari, the fantasy football expert, and Spencer the Guru, signing off. And fantasy football show at a late appearance. Shout out to Smitty. We'll stay on longer, but yeah, we gotta go. It's late on my end, so we'll be back soon with plenty more content, y'all. Stay tuned. Peace out.